How did pirates sleep on medieval ships without freezing to death? 2 hours of relaxing history. The night comes slowly to the harbor town. It is the late 14th century, and the sea breathes quietly against the stone quays. This telling is meant to be heard in stillness, to ease the mind, and to invite sleep. There is only a small uncertainty here, the soft question of how men endured cold and darkness upon the water. The town rests beside the tide. Its name is not important. It could be any port along the western seas, where salt hangs in the air and ropes creak softly. Night settles without ceremony. The streets near the harbor are narrow. They are laid with rough stones, worn smooth by carts and feet. Fog gathers low, drifting in from the water. Lanterns glow dimly at doorways. Houses stand close together. They lean inward, as if sharing warmth. Most are built of timber and plaster, some of stone. Coal fires burn low inside. Windows are small. Glass is rare. Shutters are drawn tight against the cold wind from the sea. Smoke curls upward and fades into the dark. Ordinary people move quietly through the streets. A fishmonger closes his stall. A woman gathers her shawl tighter and steps inside. Footsteps echo briefly, then are gone. Inside these houses, rooms are cramped. Families live close. A single hearth gives heat and light. The floor is packed earth or worn boards. The evening meal has been simple. Bread made from dark grain. A bowl of thin porridge. Perhaps a little salted fish or beans. Clothing is plain. Wool tunics, patched and faded. Cloaks mended many times. Shoes stiff from damp and age. Children help clear bowls. They sweep the floor with small brooms. They yawn without shame. Sleep comes early in cold seasons. In the upper rooms, straw mattresses are laid. Wool blankets are shared. Bodies press close for warmth. The night passes quietly. But down by the harbor, another world settles into darkness. Ships rest against the docks. Their masts rise like bare trees. Rigging hums softly in the wind. These ships are narrow and long. Built of oak, sealed with pitch. They smell of tar, salt, and old water. They rock gently with the tide. Some are trading vessels. Others are fishing boats. And some belong to men who live between shore and sea. Men often called pirates, though they call themselves sailors. These men are ordinary in many ways. They come from towns like this one. From farms and docks and narrow streets. They know hunger and cold well. When their ships are at anchor, night brings a different kind of rest. There are no solid walls here. No hearth set into stone. Only wood, and water, and wind. As darkness deepens, lanterns are extinguished. The harbor grows quiet. Water laps against hulls. Ropes strain and relax. On board, men prepare for sleep. They do not undress fully. Cold demands readiness. Clothing is their first shelter. They wear wool shirts and breeches. Over these, thick jackets or coats. Cloaks are pulled tight. Hoods are drawn low. Shoes are kept close. Sometimes worn even in sleep. The deck can be cold and wet. Bare feet lose heat quickly. There are no beds. No private rooms. Sleep happens wherever space allows. Often below deck, sometimes above. Below deck, the air is close. The ceiling is low. Barrels line the walls. Crates are stacked carefully. Here, men lie among their goods. They rest beside coils of rope. They lean against chests. They curl where they can. Straw is spread when available. Old sails are folded into padding. Cloaks serve as blankets. Everything has more than one use. Bodies are close together. This is done on purpose. Warmth is shared. Cold is kept at bay. The ship itself helps. Wood holds heat better than open air. The hull blocks the wind. The sea below is cold, but constant. Above deck, a few men keep watch. They move slowly. Their breath clouds faintly. They stamp their feet to keep warm. When the watch ends, they trade places. No one stays long in the cold. Fairness matters. Fatigue is shared. There is no fire below deck. Flame is too dangerous. Instead, warmth comes from bodies. From thick cloth, from stillness. Men sleep in short stretches. They wake, then rest again. The ship never fully sleeps. It listens to the sea. The cold creeps in through seams. It settles on skin and cloth. But layers slow it. Habit endures it. Sailors know how to lie. They curl inward. They pull knees toward chest. They tuck hands beneath arms. They cover their heads. Much heat escapes there. Hoods and caps are never removed lightly. Even in sleep. Moisture is an enemy. Wet cloth chills quickly. So men dry what they can by day. They avoid lying in damp places. The smell below deck is heavy. Salt, sweat, old wood. It clings to everything. No one remarks upon it. Dreams come slowly. The ship moves beneath them. It rocks gently. The motion becomes familiar. Sometimes the sea is rough. Sleep becomes lighter then. Bodies brace instinctively. Hands find something to hold. But tonight the water is calm. The harbor shelters the ship. Only small movements pass through the hull. Rest comes more easily. Near dawn, cold feels sharper. The night air bites hardest then. Men pull cloaks tighter. They wait for light. Above deck, frost may form. It gathers on ropes. It dusts the planks. But below, the air stays just warm enough. Morning arrives slowly. Gray light slips across the water. Birds cry faintly. The harbor wakes. Men rise stiffly. Limbs ache from cramped rest. But warmth returns with movement. Life continues. On shore, the town stirs again. Lanterns fade. Stalls open. Carts roll across stone. Sailors step onto the quay. They stretch. They breathe deeply. They stamp cold from their feet. Some seek food. A loaf of bread. A cup of warm ale. Simple sustenance. Others tend to their ship. They check lines. They patch sails. They prepare for departure. Children run errands along the docks. They carry messages. They fetch water. They watch ships with wide eyes. They learn early the ways of sea and shore. They know cold. They know hunger. They know how to endure. As the day passes, the sun offers little warmth. Clouds hang low. Wind moves steadily. Work keeps bodies warm. By evening, sailors return aboard. The cycle begins again. Cold waits patiently. So does rest. They eat what they have. Dried fish. Hard bread. Sometimes a pot of beans shared quietly. They speak little at night. Voices are low. Energy is saved. Darkness encourages silence. As night closes in once more, the ship settles. The harbor stills. Men find their places. Cloaks are pulled tight. They know there will be no freezing if care is taken. They trust layers and closeness. They trust the ship. They trust habit. Sleep comes not as comfort, but as necessity. The body accepts it. The mind drifts. The cold stays just outside. And so the night passes. On wood and water. With shared breath and steady patience. As the ship rests quietly in the dark, and the men drift, slowly, into sleep. The night remains settled over the harbor. Darkness thickens, yet nothing stirs sharply. The water carries the faint reflection of stars. Everything moves in a slow, measured way. Below deck, the men shift only slightly. A shoulder presses closer. A cloak is drawn higher. Warmth is guarded carefully. The ship creaks now and then. Not in distress. Only in response to the tide. Wood answers water, as it always has. Barrels are wedged tight along the hull. They hold grain, water, salted meat. They also block drafts. They create narrow pockets of still air. Men choose their places with care. Some prefer the center, away from the sides. Others sleep near the stern. Experience guides them. Those who have sailed longest know where cold gathers. They avoid damp corners. They keep to spots where warmth lingers. This knowledge is learned slowly. The deck above muffles the wind. Sails are furled tightly. Nothing flaps. Stillness is preserved. Occasionally, a wave brushes the hull. It sounds distant. Muted. Like breath against cloth. Sleep comes in fragments. A man wakes, listens, sleeps again. No alarm is felt. Only awareness. Hands remain curled close to the body. Arms are crossed. Every posture conserves heat. Nothing is wasted. The cold is not an enemy to be fought. It is a force to be respected. Men accept its presence. They work around it. Clothing shows the marks of long use. Sleeves are shiny from wear. Seams are reinforced with extra stitches. Wool is valued above all. Wool keeps warmth even when damp. It is heavy, but reliable. Many garments are layered. Shirts beneath tunics, cloaks above both. Caps are pulled low. Ears are covered. Hair is tied or braided. Skin is shielded. Some men sleep with knives at their belts. Not from fear, but from habit. Belongings are kept close. There is little talk of comfort. Endurance is assumed. Complaints are rare. Cold is shared by all. The smell below deck grows stronger as the night deepens. It is not pleasant, but it is familiar. Men breathe through it easily. The body adjusts. Moisture beads on the hull. Drops fall softly to the floor. Cloaks are shifted away from wet spots. Attention never fully leaves. Those on watch above deck move slowly. They pace to keep blood flowing. They lean into the wind. They keep their backs to it. When they return below, their cold is carried with them. But bodies close together draw it away. Heat returns gradually. No one speaks. Hours pass without notice. The tide turns. The ship shifts slightly. Ropes tighten, then relax. In the town beyond the harbor, fires burn low. People sleep behind shutters. The same cold presses at their walls. The same night covers all. Sailors and townsfolk are not so different. They eat similar food. They wear similar cloth. They know the same winter. The difference lies in shelter. On land, walls are thick. At sea, walls move. But both can hold warmth. Toward the deepest hour of night, the cold sharpens. Breath clouds more strongly. Men pull in tighter. The ship feels narrower. Someone coughs softly. Another shifts and settles again. Sleep bends, but does not break. Rest continues. No one counts the hours until dawn. There is no need. Light will come when it comes. Patience fills the space. The sea remains calm. This is a mercy. Rough water steals warmth quickly. Tonight, the harbor protects. Below deck, the air grows stale but warm. No fresh breeze enters. This is accepted. Warmth matters more. Men breathe shallowly. They move little. Energy is conserved. The body knows how. Dreams drift through tired minds. Of shore, of food, of past days. They come and go without weight. Sleep remains light but steady. As the night slowly thins, a faint change is felt. Not seen. Only sensed. The cold eases just slightly. Some men wake before light. They sit quietly. They wait. They listen to the ship. Above, the watch changes once more. Footsteps cross the deck. Boards creak softly. Then stillness returns. Below, cloaks loosen a little. Muscles relax. Sleep deepens again. The hardest cold has passed. Dawn will arrive soon. Not bright, not warm. But enough. Enough to stir the harbor. For now, the ship holds its quiet. The men remain wrapped in cloth and habit. The sea breathes gently beneath them. And the night, at last, begins to let go, slowly. The first hint of morning does not come with warmth. It comes as a thinning of darkness. The sky above the harbor lightens almost without color. The sea reflects it faintly, like dull metal. Below deck, the men begin to stir. Not all at once. One shifts his legs. Another opens his eyes and closes them again. Sleep has not been deep. It rarely is at sea. But it has been enough. The body has rested where it could. Cold still lingers in the boards. It seeps upward from the hull. Men rise slowly to avoid its bite. Movement brings warmth back. Cloaks are shaken out. Stiff cloth loosens. Caps are adjusted. Belts are tightened. There is little talk. Morning does not invite noise. Each man knows his place. Each knows what must be done. Above deck, the air is sharp. Breath shows clearly now. The harbor is gray and still. Smoke rises from the town in thin lines. The streets beyond the quay are waking. Narrow lanes glisten with damp. Stone and earth hold the night's cold. Lanterns are being extinguished one by one. Carts begin to move. Wheels creak over cobbles. A horse stamps and snorts. Life resumes its quiet rhythm. On board, a small meal is prepared. Nothing warm yet. Hard bread is broken. A strip of dried meat is shared. Men eat slowly. Chewing takes time. Food is not plentiful. It is valued. Some drink from a cask of water. Others take a mouthful of thin ale. The liquid is cold. But it settles the stomach. After eating, work begins. Lines are checked. Sails are examined. Every knot is tested by hand. Hands are rough and cracked. Salt has worked deep into skin. Cold has made it worse. But the work continues. The ship is their shelter. It must be kept sound. A loose plank invites water. A frayed rope invites loss. Children from the town appear along the quay. They carry baskets. They offer bread or onions. They watch the sailors closely. Some hope for a coin. Some hope for a story. Most are simply curious. They learn early what the harbor holds. A sailor tosses a crust to one child. No words are exchanged. The child smiles briefly, then runs off. As the morning grows clearer, the cold eases slightly. The sun rises low and pale. It gives little heat, but it gives light. With light comes movement. More ships stir. Oars dip quietly. Voices carry faintly across the water. The men feel warmth returning to their hands. Work speeds up a little. Blood flows more freely. The worst of the night is over. By midday, the ship may leave the harbor. Or it may stay. That depends on many things. Weather, cargo, word from shore. If the ship remains, the men may step onto land. They walk stiffly at first. They stretch their backs. They welcome solid ground. The streets near the harbor are busy now. Fish are laid out on boards. Barrels are rolled. Voices overlap in low tones. Shops are small and dark. Doors stand open. Coal fires burn within. The smell of smoke is everywhere. Sailors enter briefly. They trade. They buy a little food. They warm their hands by the fire. They do not linger long. Coin is scarce. Time is uncertain. The ship always calls them back. If night finds them again on board, the routine returns. Cold waits patiently. So does sleep. Both are familiar. As evening falls, the harbor quiets once more. Lanterns are lit again. Fog creeps back from the water. Sounds soften. Men return to the ship. They carry what they have bought. Bread wrapped in cloth. A bundle of onions. They eat before darkness deepens. The meal is plain. But it is shared. That matters. As night settles, cloaks are drawn tight again. Caps are pulled low. The deck cools quickly. The sea darkens. Below deck, places are chosen again. The same spots as before. Habit guides each step. There is comfort in repetition. Bodies press close. Warmth gathers. The ship rocks gently. Sleep approaches. The cold will come again. It always does. But it will not take them. They know how to endure. And so the cycle continues. Night after night. On wood and water. With simple means and quiet patience, as the men rest once more, carried gently by the slow breathing of the sea. The evening deepens without sound. Darkness settles over the harbor like a heavy cloth. Lantern light trembles in the fog. The sea becomes a dark, breathing shape. On board the ship, movement slow. Work has ended for the day. Hands are tired. Bodies are ready for rest. The men gather below deck once more. The space feels smaller at night. The ceiling presses low. But it also holds warmth. Cloaks are shaken and spread. Old sails are folded beneath shoulders. Each man returns to a familiar place. There is comfort in knowing where to lie. The cold has already begun to creep in. It seeps through the hull. It settles into the wood. But it is met with layers and closeness. Men lie shoulder to shoulder. Some rest back to back. Legs overlap slightly. Heat is shared without thought. The smell below deck grows heavier. Tar and salt cling to the air. Wet rope adds its own sharp note. No one comments. Above, the deck cools quickly. Damp gathers on the planks. Fog rolls in from the water. The ship fades into shadow. A man on watch wraps his cloak tighter. He keeps moving to stay warm. He listens to the harbor. Nothing unusual answers. Below deck, sleep comes unevenly. Some drift quickly. Others lie awake a while. The ship's motion fills their senses. The gentle rocking soothes tired muscles. It reminds them of past nights. Of long journeys. Of storms endured. Hands are tucked beneath cloaks. Feet are drawn close. Every posture has been learned through cold. Nothing is wasted. There is no fire to watch here. No glowing hearth. Only shared warmth and stillness. Only patience. The men trust their clothing. Wool holds heat even when damp. Layers slow the cold's advance. Experience has proven this. They trust the ship as well. Its planks are thick. Its seams are tight. It has carried them before. Outside, the tide shifts. Water pulls gently at the hull. The ship answers with a low creak. Then settles again. Farther into the night, the cold sharpens. Breath clouds more clearly. Some men wake and adjust their cloaks. Then rest again. A man near the hull feels dampness seeping through. He shifts slightly. Moves closer to others. Warmth returns. This closeness is not spoken of. It is practical. Necessary. Accepted. In the town beyond the fog, doors are shut tight. Families sleep behind timber and stone. Coal fires burn low. The same cold presses at their walls. The sailors know these streets. Some grew up here. Others will move on. But the night binds them all. Time passes slowly now. No sound marks it. Only the steady rhythm of water. Only breath and wood. The watch changes above deck. Soft footsteps cross the planks. A cloak brushes against a rail. Then silence returns. Below, sleep deepens again. Dreams drift through tired minds. They are quiet dreams. Of warmth, of food, of stillness. Toward the deepest hour of night, the ship feels most cold. This is always so. Men know it will pass. They endure. They curl inward. They press closer. They wait. Patience is learned early. Gradually, without notice, the cold stops worsening. The body senses the change first. Breathing slows. Sleep grows heavier. The fog outside thickens. It wraps the harbor. It muffles distant sounds. The world feels far away. Below deck, the air is stale but warm enough. No wind reaches here. That is enough. Comfort is relative. A man shifts and sighs. Another murmurs in his sleep. Then all is quiet again. The ship carries them gently. Somewhere beyond the dark, dawn is waiting. Not yet visible. Not yet felt. But certain. For now, the night still holds its place. The sea remains calm. The ship remains steady. The men remain at rest. And as the hours continue to drift, as cold and warmth find their balance, as sleep settles once more across the crowded deck, the ship moves softly with the water, carrying its men through another silent stretch of night. The night begins to loosen its hold, slowly. Not with warmth, but with a quiet change in the air. The darkness thins, almost without being seen. The sea shifts its color from black to deep gray. Below deck, bodies remain close. Sleep is heavy now. The cold has done all it can. Endurance has answered it. Cloaks lie folded around shoulders and legs. Wool has trapped what warmth there is. Breath has warmed the small space. The ship holds it gently. The men do not stir yet. Their rest has become deeper. Muscles soften. Faces smooth in the half-light. The ship makes its usual sounds. A low creak along the hull. The soft knock of water. These sounds no longer wake anyone. Moisture still clings to the wood. But it no longer chills as sharply. The cold has eased its grip. Just enough to be felt. Above deck, the watch pauses. The horizon has changed. The line between sea and sky is clearer. Morning is on its way. The man on watch rubs his hands together. Not from pain now, but from habit. He breathes deeply. The air smells clean and salt-sharp. In the town beyond the fog, bells may soon ring. Not loudly. Just enough to mark the hour. Life will begin again. Below deck, one man wakes. He does not rise at once. He listens to the ship. He feels the steadiness beneath him. Another stirs nearby. A knee shifts. A cloak loosens slightly. No one speaks. Sleep has done its work. Not fully, but enough. The night has been survived. As so many have before. The men know this pattern well. Cold in the early hours. Rest that comes and goes. Morning that arrives quietly. They rise slowly when they do rise. Stiff back straighten carefully. Hands stretch and flex. Blood warms the fingers again. Cloaks are shaken free of damp. Caps are adjusted. Belts are checked. Everything is kept close. There is no rush. The harbor is still half asleep. The tide waits. So do the ships. Someone passes a piece of bread. It is hard and dry. But it fills the mouth. It gives strength. Another drinks from a small cask. The water is cold. It clears the head. It prepares the body. As light grows stronger, details return. The grain of the wood. The lines in worn hands. The familiar faces of the crew. Above deck, fog begins to lift. The outlines of buildings appear. Masts rise like dark lines against the sky. The harbor takes shape again. The cold is still there. It always will be. But it no longer threatens. Daylight changes its power. Men climb the ladder to the deck. They move carefully. Planks are slick with damp. The sea waits below. Fresh air fills their lungs. It is sharp but clean. The body welcomes it. Movement brings warmth. On shore, carts begin to roll. Hooves strike stone. Voices call softly. Another day opens. The sailors look toward the town. Some will go ashore. Some will remain with the ship. All know the routine. They have slept without freezing. Not by comfort, but by knowledge. By layers, by closeness, by patience. By accepting the night as it is. The ship has been their shelter. The sea their constant companion. The cold their familiar test. They have answered it quietly. As the sun rises a little higher, the worst of the chill fades. Hands grow steady. Feet feel strong again. Work resumes. Ropes are handled. Sails are checked. The ship prepares for whatever the day brings. Departure, or waiting. But the night is finished now. It releases its hold without resistance. Sleep has done what it could. That is enough. And so, as morning spreads across the harbor, as fog thins and sound returns, as the men stand once more onward warmed by use and breath, the memory of cold slips behind them, quietly. Leaving only the steady rhythm of sea and ship, and another day unfolding, slowly, without hurry.